On PowerPoint, that looks simple, easy, doesn't it? I know. So let's discuss what happened in the background. What were the success factors? How did it start? The project timeline. So the customer in late 2020 already came to the point what they wanted to do. And then in 2021, they started the proof of concept for the hardware, the Exadata hardware. At some point, the hardware got ordered, then it got delivered. And we got involved into the project in May 2022. Information exchange, we went on site, we discussed this and that, and the customer often said, yeah, we tried that out, but it doesn't work, or no, it's too slow for us. So it became pretty quickly clear that this is the most demanding project we ever got involved with. In October 2022, the Exadata and the recovery appliance all then was finally set up and ready to fly, so we could leave the sandbox testing environments and start with the real migration tests. But since the customer used the most complex data types we have ever seen, everything used evolved object types, XML binaries, you name it, we hit also some issues we have not seen before. So we hit bugs, and it took a while to get the fixes. In December 2022, the customer did a mild escalation, a friendly escalation, I would call it, saying, hey, guys, we need to do better here. But in April 2023, it started really boiling up hot, and it became an executive escalation, which means then some executives at Oracle are involved and executives on the customer side are involved. You have many escalation calls and lots of reporting going on in the background. And it was not only about the migration itself, I have to confess. There were also other things, like we had an important standby. It was hanging back at peak days, I think 38 days behind the production. But it was needed for reporting. So this really introduced a lot of, I would say, challenges. Good thing is, at some point we overcame the challenges, standby were in sync, bugs were fixed, delivered, and then we could start a stress testing. And once the stress testing was done, the hot phase, the go live phase, started actually with a real dry run on October 3rd. So real dry run means we get production outage. We stop the production for 2 hours to set our tablespaces into read-only mode and exercise the entire migration end to end. Trust me, this was the most important thing of the entire project. Having a good run book, but also doing a real dry run. Because we still found things to optimize. We still found one or the other tiny little piece where we had to fix something. So we could experiment and see how it really would perform. October 17th, 2023, all the migrations were then done. Everything happened nicely, and oh, happy ever after. One thing very important here, because when a project runs over such a long time, it's also important to understand where we started database release-wise and what we added. So we, of course, added also some one-off fixes, but we started with 1912. And at some point, it became clear that we need fixes in a data pump bundle patch. It took a while until we really discovered all the things. So with 1918, we were finally at a point where we said, now everything is there. Every fix we need is in shape, is included in data pump bundle patch, or is available as a separate merge patch for the environment, and we can go live with. And this is what we did. We went live with 1918. So let me show you I would say, the absolute key to success here. And this is a detailed runbook. On the gray bar, you see all the items in case you want to build up your own runbook. And we had over 200 individual tasks. That means it was clear when we start, what we do, who is the owner, who is the backup person, and whatever. And also taking down the real timings when you exercise it. And we could optimize this with the dry run we did on October 3rd. So we had I would say, super solid run book for the live migration, and we followed that strictly step by step.